very minimal uprising in any sort, civil uprising in any sort.
Okay, talking about attracting investors, before now there are some factories that were shut down in Kaduna,
yes,
like the garment factories and all of that. Are they back up while you're attracting the new investors? What about those factories that had shut down?
Well, that is a particular problem because what we are thinking of, the factories shut down were on very old and archaic technologies that may not favorably compete with the present technologies of China and other places. So we are talking to partners to see how, if these factories come upstream, they will be able to bring in modern technologies that are able to compete. And we are talking to the Dangotes of this world to be able to do just that. And other partners have also come in to indicate interest. Of course, not all of them are government-owned enterprises. Some of them are private investment. So the investors are talking to various partners. The government is only facilitating these discussions, hoping that it will get to a point that these factories will come upstream.
You know, I asked the question because as you're attracting the new investors to come in, they'll be wondering, how is it that the ones that were there before were shut down? So what are the efforts of the government to ensure that this will come
the government is facilitating. It's
what
only
about,
a facilitator.
What kind of incentives are you giving the old investors and the new investors in terms of rebates and all of that?
Yeah, no, what government has, the most important resource government has is land. And as far as possible, the government pays compensation on this land that are supposed to be taken up for construction of these industries. And we give also some form of, we don't completely waive the taxes that they are supposed to pay for coming in, but we give a kind of tax holiday. Whatever that is accruable to the government can be delayed until further, because we saw sense in doing that.
How long is that?
No, between 15, 20 years, depending on the investment.
15, 20 years tax holiday?
Yeah, we can do that, because what is uppermost to us is to make sure
you can, or that's what is currently obtainable.
Yeah, I think we gave one, we gave Olam 10 years. We gave Olam 10 years, and that is because unless these companies are encouraged to come upstream, these companies are alive, and those youth, are engaged, we will not be able to have a peaceful environment. Okay. So what is uppermost to us is investment coming in. Then we delay whatever is due to government, but we see development around the state, and youth are engaged to the extent that they will be able to make themselves.
Does the state go back to those companies and check to ensure that yes, they're performing their duties and/or the corporate social responsibility to getting qualified local personnel?
Correct. We do. We have a fantastic monitoring device, and I think at the end of today there will be inspection of some of the companies that were pledged in Kadipa, the Card Invest 1.0, and also some of the investments that were pledged also in during the 2.0. So all these are usually monitored, and we have done a lot in this regard. But more than anything else, the state has done a lot to ensure that even its resources are well managed. Because we have also reduced the cost of governance, we have reduced the number of commissioners that were in position, or that the state was used to having, from 24 ministries and 24 commissioners to 14. And as much as possible, this has always been proving very positive.
I see that you say that you had to shut down about 470 bank accounts in 2015 because of the implementation of TSA. How is that coming, and how come the state had so much accounts?
Well, we met a situation where one can say then anything went as okay, because we did an audit of how many accounts the state, had.
How many did you find?
We found 470 of them.
Legitimate?
That legitimate or illegitimate, they were just opened left, right, and center. Any organization, any agency can go open up an account, and that was why we had to streamline and said everything must go to the TSA domiciled at the Central Bank of Nigeria. And we are the only state, subnational state, that has been able to do that today. We have had various versions of TSAs, but Kaduna State today is the only one that has TSA in Central Bank. And we've been able to close down all the 470 accounts that we met in place. So what we have done, accounts other than TSA, but we have authorized our MDAs to go and open operational accounts only. So what they have is operational account only for one per MDA. So these have been streamlined, and we now have a total picture of our resources at any time T, and we can deploy these resources. By the way, when those accounts were closed, we realized 25 billion naira. Ordinarily, these were monies that if the state wanted or needed to do other things, we will go back to the same banks to borrow. And we haven't accumulated them to one position. We were able to also invest, and we generated 1.2 billion interest in the year 2016, and that was reported in our accounts. So we had some good benefits of going TSA, and we had better picture of our finances, and we have been able to do just that going forward.
You know, Commissioner, I took notice of a budgeting system that has been in place in the state, in which the budgets are approved before the end of the previous year. Can you talk a little bit about how the predictability of the state's finances is affecting potential investment in the state?
Well, we have done very well in terms of ensuring that every new year we go with a brand new budget. And this budget, with the cooperation of our state assembly, have always been passed in the month of December, you know, going into the year that the new year. So we have been able to, because of the budget coming upstream, going into a new year with new budget, our development partners can easily pick and see where their roles come in, because the grants and also the loans are usually imputed into our budget. So we have situations where if we are going for grants, they already know the grants that were expected and that we are expecting, and we zero usually on the partners. On the grant, for instance, Bill and Melinda Gates, we are expecting this much from them, and also we mention in our final accounts, particularly development partners that have contributed to financing of the state. So this has worked well for us, and we are hopeful that this will continue.
All right, we want to anchor the point. Sulaiman Abdul Kwari is the Commissioner of Finance in Kaduna State. Thank you for talking to us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.